I was cruising along the other day. As I'm listening to Rush, I heard him make a comment, and at first I thought it was kind of bizarre, but then it got me thinking. He said, I'm really happy with my brain, but if they said, you know what, you've got a problem with your brain, we're going to do a transplant. Whose brain would he most like to have all or part of put in his skull? And he came up with, I think he actually came up with two. I remember Charles Krauthammer, but that's the only name that I remembered. And it made me think. I'm thinking, okay, if something happened where they said you need a brain transplant, who would I want to find who was personable, knowledgeable, articulate? And Chris Wallace, guess whose name came to mind?
I can't imagine.
Can I have a piece of your brain?
I don't have enough to give out to anybody else these days.
Okay. Check it on your license plate. Say it only goes to Scinto. Hey, Chris, it's always nice to talk to you.
Thank you. That's very, very nice, and certainly much nicer than what I normally get.
Hey, I feel bad for you. I really do, because a week like this where there's absolutely nothing happening, how do you get a show together?
No, it is interesting, because I was describing what it is to be the host of a Sunday show, and it's like being a quarterback, and you're throwing the ball not to where the wide receiver is, but where you hope he's going to be in a couple of steps. And so trying to figure out this week, as we started with economic news and piracy, and then we got the DHS memo about right-wing extremism, and then late yesterday we got the enhanced interrogation memos. And of course, we got the president down at the summit of the Americas. It's a movable feast, and we keep changing our plans.
But I'll bet the table will be full on Fox News Sunday, as it always is.
It will indeed.
Well, let's talk about that memo. And I mentioned when I got in, being a conservative and anti-abortion, and I've expressed my opinion, of course, on illegal immigration. I'm a disabled veteran from the Vietnam War era. I've had to look for the black sedans behind me after this thing came out. Now, Janet Napolitano on Fox and Friends did a little, I guess I'd call it an attempt at sidestepping or backpedaling on this.
No, she said she talked about an apology. She used the A word, and I give her credit for doing it. I mean, it's just dumb. And in fairness, we need to point out that they also, a couple of months ago, issued a similar DHS, Department of Homeland Security, memo about left-wing extremism, and talked about animal rights advocates and environmentalists. So, they're equal opportunity in saying stupid things or in sort of stereotyping people. But, the idea that because somebody feels strongly about a subject, or, in the case of veterans, just because of the fact that they know how to use a weapon, that you would begin to even suggest, well, they could be targets, to be recruited as terrorists. As one of the returning veterans said in an email to Fox News, I went to Iraq to fight terrorism, and now that you're saying I might become one. It's stupid, and I can't even believe it's particularly useful in terms of, helping to profile or understand, whether it's on the left or the right, who's likely to be a terrorist. And,
what she brought up, as many liberals do when we start talking about the right-wing extremism, with Steve Doocy, she was talking about, guess who? Timothy McVeigh.
Well, it's true. Timothy McVeigh was a returning veteran, and he did become, he did become a terrorist, but I don't know that says very much other than, there was one of millions. Exactly.
In fact, let's let the audience hear, Eric, if you've got that handy, let's let the audience hear what she had to say about Tim McVeigh.
I have to tell you, I was the United States Attorney for Arizona in the 90s when Tim McVeigh bombed the Murrah building in Oklahoma City. And unfortunately, he was a vet. That's where he got his training. And so when I was told about the report, it rang true with me. This has happened in the past.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think veterans
that's also like, it'd be like saying, well, O.J. Simpson happened, so let's worry about former NFL players or something. Yeah. It is painting with such a broad, unspecific brush. It is.
But what burns me up is, and I hate to use the old buck stops here, but she was saying, gee, I wish I could have, when it was talking about the anti-abortionists, and, she said, gee, if I could redo that footnote, I wish, she put her final signature on that report, did she not?
Yeah, look, I don't know. Apparently there was a controversy within DHS about it. I don't know to what degree she really was involved in it, and I'll take her word for it that she wasn't. But and I do have to give her credit. She immediately, instead of sitting there and trying to defend it, she immediately said, I want to apologize and I want to meet with veterans. And it was a dumb memo, and they shouldn't have put it out, just as they shouldn't have put it out about left-wing people. I mean, have there been some environmentalists? Have there been some animal rights zealots who have done committed acts of terrorism? That yes, there are. But
we're sure not hearing it from this administration, though. But I understand that. Hey, let me move on real quickly to the torture, alleged torture. I guess there were 4 separate reports or parts of memos that came out about this. And I was trying to, as this came out, and I heard about this yesterday. I'm trying to think what good is it? I know that the Obama administration said, well, the American people need to know. Is this vengeance? Is it trying to get back at Bush? Is it one last stab? Why did this come out, and why was it necessary, in your opinion, for it to come out?
Well, I'm not sure it was necessary, and it's interesting that the White House went over the objections of their own CIA director, Leon Panetta, not Bush's CIA director, but the person they appointed, who felt that this one would, be dangerous and provide a roadmap to terrorists about kinds of techniques that we use or don't use. And also, I think it probably raises concerns. Is everything that everybody does going to be then brought out, whether it's lawyers or CIA operatives, is it going to be brought out by the next administration? And look, part of what I think was going on here is that this president talked about transparency, and here was an opportunity to do it that wasn't going to hurt him. It was going to, although it may certainly not help the country. In addition, there was a lawsuit, and there was the judge had indicated he was intended, but they could have fought the lawsuit. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to have put the memos out. And I got to say, if I'm the president, and if you believe that we are in a war on terror, and the CIA director who is charged with, being kind of your frontline man in terms of fighting the war on terror says, I think this is damaging to the agency and the work that the agency does in the continuing fight on the war on terror, or whatever they want to call it, I gotta think that's pretty persuasive to me. I don't know that I would go up against that.
Exactly. A lot of tea bags thrown around and burned and written on over the past week in 2,000 cities is the estimate that I've heard. Anywhere from hundreds of thousands to perhaps millions of people. And you've got a lot of years under your belt doing this.
Thanks. That's a nice way of saying
60, 70, 80 years you've been doing this. Do you, as you look ahead, is this one of those things that is going to build momentum, or was it a one-time thing that's going to fizzle out? I hope it keeps going, and I wish it would have started about 6 months ago. But
the answer is we don't know, and it'll be interesting to see. It's one of the reasons I love the news business. I mean, some people are comparing it to the proposition. I forget what the number was in California.
Wasn't that Proposition 8?
No, Proposition 8 was the one just now about.
Oh, that's right.
About gays, but
okay.
But the one back in the 70s that was the precursor to the whole Reagan Revolution, where they were upset with all the spending going on in the government of California, and they ended up passing a proposition to force the state to limit state spending. So, I mean, these things can build, or sometimes they fizzle out, and it'll be interesting to see. But it sure was an indication that there are a lot of unhappy people, unhappy with taxes, unhappy not only with government spending, but also the role of government, the increasing role of government in their lives. We'll see. And we'll see two things. First of all, whether the grassroots movement continues and builds, and then two, the degree to which the Republicans are able to turn this to their benefit. Because let's face it, I mean, let's be honest. An awful lot of the people who are out there, I suspect, would say that over the last 8 years, Republicans have been part of the problem, not part of the solution, as they have become part of big government and big spending. And, now they talk about cleaning up, but 40% of the earmarks in that bill the president signed were Republican earmarks. So I'm not sure they've really gotten the message yet that they have to clean up their act.
Chris, in the 40 seconds or so we got left, if you haven't already done it, a little menu of Fox News Sunday.
Well, we know some of it. We're going to have Lindsey Graham on. We're going to have Claire McCaskill on. But because of these memos, the interrogation memos that came out, I'm not going to call them torture memos because I don't think you can call them that. We're going to talk. We're trying to book somebody from the Obama administration and somebody from the Bush administration to talk about whether it was wise to release the memos and whether or not. If we were faced with the same situation, would we really play by Marcus of Queensberry rules, or would we get tough and crack down? So, plenty to talk about on Sunday.
And of course, Chris, I will reciprocate, and I'll put on my driver's license. If I go first, you can have part of my brain. Would you like that,
Mike?
Never mind. All right. Chris Wallace, thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Always a pleasure. I don't know why I set myself up for that one, but from Fox News Sunday, Chris Wallace. And always, this has got to be, I would say, one of the busiest shows that he's had to put together. He's doing it on the fly and always a pro at doing it.